speaking of Adam 22, AD, t-rell, the whole no jumper, man, we have AD on the phone. What's going on, my brother?
What's happening, man? My brother, man. Lone, what's the deal, G?
Man, nothing. I wanted to call, man. I just was listening to Joe Budden and Adam 22 conversation. You know, Joe has a way, yeah, he has a way where he's pressing up on Adam a little bit, right? And you know, I hit Adam up. You know, I have a relationship with Adam. You know, I had came out there and interviewed him, so I hit him up. He was like, man, I really don't want to do no press right now. I really got mad at him. We really got to argue. You know, because I'm like, man, you know, you everywhere. And niggas need to hear from you when you just let go of damn near all the black niggas that, right? Most of the niggas that matter, you let them go. Why we can't really talk to you about that, right? But then I said, Loon, this ain't no street shit. Bag up, let the boy get him a little time. He'll come out and have a conversation. First, I want to congratulate you, though, man, because, you know, oftentimes we don't think on our feet and understand pivoting. I believe even when I was out there, I was telling Adam, yo, it's too late. You can't stop these guys now. Mm-hmm. These guys that already moved. I even asked Adam, I said, why don't you look at this like a workaround, like they're not bringing viewers to No Jumper by being so active in that streaming market, and he just couldn't see the vision. Do you believe that being active in the community, with the community, do you think that that added value to the show, or do you honestly believe that it took from your presence over on No Jumper?
I think it added value because at the end of the day, Adam gonna get he gonna be the one that's gonna get the praise. Like, hey, you put him in position and look what he created. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you a general making other generals. That's how I looked at it.
Right. But is Adam interested in playing kingmaker, or is he saying from a business perspective, this no longer is valuable to me because you aren't were you showing up for No Jumper in the same way that you've always showed up, or in your honest opinion, did you enjoy doing community a little better? Was the vibe a little different with Pun over there? What is it better for you over there? Like, is your vibe different in that environment?
I mean, you got to look at it two different ways. Yeah, community is something that I own. I'm literally at my home. You know, I can sit there and there's no pressure when it comes down to that. And even though I enjoyed doing the Tuesday show, you gotta, I think the things that made me great and what the people liked about me, Adam wanted to suppress. And maybe not intentional, but I used to make a lot of jokes and I used to say things that were like, he would say, man, there goes a tick. But those are the type of things that are stuck. Like I used to always say, at the end of the day, ended up becoming my show because it was something that I said all the time. See? You know, I was just being myself. It was no pressure. It was no nothing. And I felt like listening to him, because I'm looking at him like not only as a boss, I'm looking at him as somebody that I respect in the podcast space. And I do want to get better as a podcaster. So if he's telling me, yeah, man, oh, that's too many jokes, that's a different tick, change this up, do this different, I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm taking notes and I'm trying to apply it, I'm thinking becoming a better podcaster, then it gets perceived that, hey, you're not bringing the same energy to the platform no more.
Yeah, because
what doing is just
what works for Adam, he can't critique us, right? He can critique us from a business perspective, but for our style on camera and how we talk, and you got to really kind of let us be who we are, especially if it's been profitable, right? You just said that you came, and I heard him say you came in a time where he wasn't making no money. He was broke. So before we even get there, let's bag up a little bit, because I got like 500,000 listeners on each show, each pod, right? And I need them to understand kind of what we're talking about and what happened. So give the audience kind of a Cliff Note version of AD, who he is over at No Jumper, and what just happened involving you, t-rell, and all of that.
Okay, so if you don't know, my name is AD. I was a local artist in Los Angeles, radio play songs with like a lot of your favorite artists and stuff like that. not really breaking the needle. You know, on a local level, yeah, being able to survive, take care of the family and stuff. But the progression, I feel like it was at a standstill. And, you know, I asked Adam, I approached him. I was like, hey, man, what's up with the interview as a rapper? Gave me the interview, and you can go see it. And what's crazy about it is that interview at the time, it had like 30,000 views for the year. That video now was like, I think, almost 400,000 views. It climbed over time. And once I did the interview, it left a good impression with Adam. He was talking about expanding and bringing, you know, different people to the platform. And he thought that I, you know, probably would be a good fit. So we had kind of like a little tryout where I went. It was like, hey, I'm honestly not knowing what I'm coming for, but I'm just sitting there talking. You know, any way for me to expand my brand, I was down for it.
Yes. So
I'm just talking. Maybe 3-4 months later, he gets a deal with Snapchat, and Snapchat is like, hey, you know, put together a show. We started doing something called the No Jumper News, which is still, you know, prominent.
Morphed into his right.
Yeah, it morphed into something different. So at the time I was kind of skeptical because I'm like, media and blogging and podcasting, it takes away from the artist. And at the time I was like, I don't know nobody that uses Snapchat. So let me just, you know, try this out. I ended up trying it out. Maybe a week or 2 weeks later, the quarantine happens. And yeah, so he ended up calling me back. He was like, hey, you want us to start doing this? And I'm like, F it. The world shut down. I don't live too far from where y'all at. Let's do it.
Right.
So I just started going there back and forth.
Now before you go, because I want to kind of break this up. This is so important, right? In that moment right there, it was, especially in LA, there was starting to be strict rules on how you're able to go out and get money, even if you're able to do content, right? So you was in a situation where you might have been helping Adam in a way that you may not really knew, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have knew, you might not really knew. Now looking back on it, in that situation coming in quarantine, tell me this, how long did you stay there? Because I know you mentioned you didn't even ask for no money. How long before you started to get paid, would you say?
I would say maybe a couple of months. Maybe a month or two.
That ain't bad.
Yeah, I think
that ain't bad.
No. It was good because I want to say maybe a month and a half. I got a check for like, I want to say like $2,000, and I was like, "Hey, that's cool."
Yeah, for just doing nothing in quarantine, right? You ain't really know. Now here's the, and we'll get to this later. Here's the important thing. He just unlocked something for you. He just showed you that, oh, it's a value attached to this. Because people don't really know that, hey, yo, us sitting here talking, our culture, the way our experiences, it's value attached to this. I just signed a 7-figure deal. You see what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, it's like, I ain't just sitting around talking. I know it's value attached to this. And that's what he done for you in that moment. Yeah. Yeah,
so, you know, I get that little check, and I'm like, hey, this is cool. Because, you know, at the time, man, I'm going to keep it honest. I'm sitting there doing club appearances. I'm getting my 2,500s, my 3,500s, $4,000s, and, you know.
Making it look good.
I'm living off of that.
Yeah.
I'm making it look good. I'm doing the best that I can.
Right.
And, you know, I get that, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And, you know, so I end up subbing on the podcast, which is the Tuesday show. And I ain't gonna lie, the ways of my thinking at the time, I'm thinking like a hood nigga. You know, I was saying things on camera. They was like, "Oh, we can't air that." You know, straight raw. Just how
yeah, talk. For sure.
And they're like, oh, we can't air that. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I mean, my bad. I toned it down a little bit. So, you know, it was a real tight knit group, and you know, I'm sitting there working. I'm doing that shit. And once I started subbing, you know, people started telling me like, oh man, this is a bad idea. Stop doing that. You know, you're going to up your music career. This is that. I'm hearing it all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I noticed when I started going out, I ain't used to white people coming up to me and like, hey, oh, you're funny. I'm like, I wasn't used to that.
Yeah.
So I started seeing little kids and white people and all type of people, just different walks of life coming up to me like, hey, man, we think that you're funny and stuff like that. At first, they had me. But after like a month, they really took to me. And I think that was, you know, the rawness that I was bringing to the table, the funny jokes I was saying, the tics. You know, I'm drinking fifths and I'm getting on camera and I'm just being, you know, who I am.
Yeah, honest.
Just being real honest.
Right.
And you know, as time went by, Adam was like, hey, we think you'd be good to have your own podcast. And I'm like, I don't know. I really thought about it. And I'm a person that moved by faith. And I was like, you know what, God, if this is right for me, let it be. And,
right.
you know, the signs was there. And I just started doing it. And it's crazy, too, because I had a co-host, which would have been Gina. I ended up leaving for like 2 weeks, breaking my phone and not having contact with her.
Wow.
Soon as I got back, they said, hey, Gina's off the table now. They said, you know, I said, well, what about Yuri, who works for No Jumper? They was like, no, we don't want you to do it with Yuri. I was like, all right. They was like, you know, there's a girl named Yazzie. They was like, you know, we think y'all be good together. I said, fuck it. I probably ended up filming our first episode the next day or the day before, the day after that.
Wow.
So
that's dope.
I was, I met the girl. I'm sitting there, you know, we started doing the show and it started doing good. The views wasn't all the way there, but, you know, I was having fun doing it. It started getting a little leg, and then the situation happened that kind of like blew it up.
What? You went out right then. What situation was that?
Oh, the OT Genesis situation.
Okay.
If you've seen, I'm in the big leagues. That's my brother.
I remember that.
He came on the show. Yeah, it went viral, but that's kind of how the show got his legs. Right after that, you know, the thing with the co-host wasn't really going that good. My manager, Ace Boy Pun, he suggested that we try t-rell on. And I was like, you know what? I know t-rell, but I knew t-rell from the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a real street guy, just like myself. And, you know, we knew each other through that. We wasn't always on the same sides of the fence, but, you know, it was a mutual respect. So I said, man, let's try him out. The first day that I ever sat down and talked to him, I said, man, he's staying. And originally, they were trying to make me and my other co-hosts work out. I said, man, f*** that. t-rell's staying. And, you know, they didn't really want him to stay.
Yeah, and t-rell has been shining. He's been able to shine. And you know what I'm hearing a lot of?
Superstar, man.
He is, man. He is. And I'm hearing a lot of Adam didn't want to do that and it worked. Adam didn't want to do this and it worked. Adam didn't want to do, but it ended up working. It's like, do you know of anything that he has said or pitched amongst y'all that has really worked? Or has he just implemented the things that y'all have done organically and just, you know, created his business model around that? Did he orchestrate any of that we were seeing, basically, is my question.
Honestly, like, for the most part, no.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, people that we picked or somebody else brought to the table. But I will say I respect them for giving us free reign. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
but you know what it is? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But if I wanted to try something, you know, they were down to let me try it. So, like, for instance, I wanted to do movie reviews. I was fairly new. You know, people was enjoying it, but the views wasn't receptive at the time. So they're like, all right, we cancel it. But I was like, you know what? At least they let me even get the chance to even try it. And, you know, I had another idea to do the food show. And they were kind of like, we don't know. And then we tried it and it ended up being a success. So, you know, a lot of times, that's why I say, you know what, it's dope that they even let me even try something out.
Right, for sure.
Working.
For sure. And I agree with that. I'm just wondering, like, can Adam see the vision? Does he see the vision in regards to hip hop content? Right, because he didn't want T-Rell to kind of do it, according to y'all, and T-Rell smashed it. He kind of didn't want you up there. You smashed it, right? Certain little things he kind of really didn't take a liking to, and it kind of worked. So I'm kind of interested in how he feels about his level of orchestrating that stuff. So let's continue with the story. So quarantine hit, you come through, while he's, struggling really to make content. Rappers can't move, people can't really move, but he got to keep pushing the content out and serve his fan base. Who was all there at that time? And then let's continue from there, because I want to get up to how the hell this happens.
Yeah, it was me, him, House Phone, Cam Girl. As far as talent, that was it.
Four people. Okay, that's in the beginning of quarantine. All right. So now what?
I mean, maybe you could say Yuri too, but Yuri was like there for the music streams we used to do. But as far as talent, like it was only the Tuesday show at the time.
Okay.
And then I was doing the Snapchat show.
Okay, so he had a very skeleton crew. Okay, so now what? So y'all are making content for how many years? All through quarantine? Like when did you start to feel or see? When did the community launch? Like we need some landmarks to see what happened.
So I ended up, I'm sitting there subbing on the Tuesday show for him. Cam Girl, she leaves No Jumper, and then they're like, you know what, AD, we want you to be temporary. It was never supposed to be permanent. We want you to be temporary until we find a replacement. So I said, that's fine. And at this time, I had my Wednesday, the Wednesday show started as well, too. So now I'm doing both. Now I'm doing the premiere show and I'm doing my show. Maybe within, Adam was pushing me to you should start doing dope stuff. Start streaming, start getting into these different type of things. I was like, all right.
Right.
I tried to, and prior to this, I tried to do Twitch 2 times and I didn't really get no viewers. You know what I mean?
Right.
We started off, I want to say November 2021.
Okay, so where is the Tuesday show in regards to performance, in regards to who's on the show when you started Community?
Me, House Phone, and Adam.
So just y'all three. All right. So when y'all when Community starts to tick or get its legs with OT Genesis, when is that moment?
No, that's at the end of the day when OT Genesis came on.
Oh, so he came on the No Jumper show. When did Community get his legs though? I guess I'm trying to figure out when did it become a threat to Adam? Because I noticed at one point he was starting to say, look, y'all need to stop talking about what happens over here at No Jumper on your stream. And I came out there and I'm like, yo, you don't find that funny? Like everybody's gonna react to what happens at No Jumper. Like I didn't really understand that. So I'm trying to figure out when he started to feel like, hey yo, AD is starting to be competition.
So I would say maybe because I started off just trying to play video games, and the people, they just started asking me questions that was happening in the office. Like, this wasn't deliberate. You know what I mean?
Right.
People were like, hey, what's going on with this? And I was just talking on it. They'd be like, oh, what happened with this person? I'd be like, well, this happened. And they ended up they really started taking to it. So it started off with a couple hundred people. Then it started being 1,000. Then it started being a couple thousand. And, then I started getting, recognition from the DJ Akademiks. And other people started tapping in. I'm like, oh, this is dope. I never thought about it taking away from No Jumper. I just thought it was a great extension. And, I thought that, he was proud of me because I started coming to the office. I'm like, hey, bro, this is dope. Like, I'm making some great money from this. And maybe within the first 2 to 3 months, I started getting paid more than what I was getting paid at No Jumper. So, yeah. So, I was just real humble with it. I'm just sitting there like, man, I think every interview, everything that I'm doing, I'm like, man, I thank Adam for even pushing me to get to this point. I was just always showing love. Like I didn't get it, but eventually, you know, Pullen, which is my manager, he started talking on there, and then, you know, it just started building like a real community.
Right.
And, you know, we pushed t-rell to start his stream. Shout out to Back on Fig. And,
right.
you know, t-rell, he was like, all right. He was like, I don't know. He just kept thinking about it. And then eventually he started. And then the people started taking to him. 1 second, Loon. I'm pulling into my garage. I know it's going to cut off.
All right.
I apologize.
Are you good?
So after that, I pushed t-rell to, you know, do his stream. And then his started moving and stuff like that. And early on, we just really just started supporting each other.
Right.
So, you know, when he would go on and stuff like that.
When did you start to feel like Adam? When did you start to feel like Adam brought up that it may be a problem, or felt like that it was a recycle of, you know, content or an issue at any point? When did you feel that? How long has it been since you kind of felt like Adam didn't appreciate what was happening on YouTube?
It started being just little comments.
Has that been a year,
like
18 months?
Nah, it hasn't even. We just hit a year of doing community. Community started in November 2021. Yeah. So
wow.
It's probably been a year. Yeah, it hasn't even been that long that we started community.
Cause I mean, I saw him get afraid when he was like, "Yo, we're gonna have to have a conversation." You know, they're talking about what's happening on over at No Jumper. I saw him starting to get afraid. So you think about what, 6-7 months?
I'll say like 6 months in.
Okay. Do you feel like, as a business, do you feel like that Adam could have came to you and said, "Man, can we not go over the same topics that we go over on?"
He could have.
What made you what make you think that he didn't do that? Why wouldn't he just come say something like that to you?
I don't know. Honestly, maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't look at it as like, oh, this is. I honestly, in my heart, believe that he didn't think that it was going to get to what it was. And you know, it was crazy to me that he said something in the Joe Budden interview. You know, I ain't gonna lie, it kind of hurt my feelings. He said it's verbatim. He said, "I knew they were going to be ambitious, just not that ambitious." So I'm like, damn.
Right.
If you push me to do something and it ends up being successful, like, why would you even feel that way? We're supposed to be homies. You feel me?
Right. Do you feel like who do you feel like advised him? Because he said it's been on his mind and he wanted to talk. I imagine that Lush isn't the only person he spoke with. Do you think someone advised him that removing AD is a good idea? Because I would feel like that you would keep AD.
Nah, I don't even. I think that it's crazy because DJ Akademiks has said this a year ago, not even a year ago, like 6-7 months ago. He said that the community is going up. He said Adam's going to either have to make AD a partner or he going to have to fire him because it's going to be no in between. And I knew once I was progressing, comparisons were going to start happening, and the Reddit will talk about, oh, it's a conflict of interest, and comments will say that thing. And I think that outside forces in the comments in the Reddit probably made him feel like, you know, he probably started reading into it.
Do you think he's affected by the outside entities? He's not really making all the decisions himself. The comments he'll gauge that as saying, well, this is the audience.
Well, I think we all are to a certain degree.
Well, I'm gonna consider the business. I'm gonna consider things. I'm gonna do the interviews I want to do. I ain't really gonna consider what these people talking about. Like, even I hear you mentioning Akademiks. Adam, in my opinion, don't got no business following Akademiks. Akademiks ain't done what Adam was doing, so he can't get no advice from Akademiks. Akademiks has yet to put anyone in position, and I don't say that. You know, I say that respectfully. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
But even in that sense, I respected it because it happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
yes.
he called it out, and you know, he called it out. the thing being is literally like, yeah, when you start seeing what YouTube is really making, when you start seeing the situations and opportunities coming your way,
the information.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
You getting the information.
Yes.
You know, as a black man, I'm going into this company and I'm thinking, like, you know, oh man, this what I'm getting is dope because it's more than I'm used to getting on the regular. But once you get behind, you know, them cameras and you seeing the business and you see how much money coming in and you see how much you making and you seeing how the, you know, the algorithm is and you seeing these people sitting there throwing stuff at you, you like, wait a minute, there's a lot more money that, you know, and I can imagine on a larger scale how much they were doing. So once you get the information, it's gonna make you look at things differently. Like, so maybe I should move this different way.
Speaking of the information that you received during your own show, do you believe that No Jumper with the shows that you were involved with was losing money? Because that's been a narrative as well, that he was losing money with a lot of these shows.
No. Now, if you're going by straight YouTube views and everything like that, and you have to pay talent, yes, you would lose money off of that. But we had sponsors, and that was usually how, you know, in some of them sponsors, I'm not gonna sit there and put their business out there, but it's large thousands of dollars of money. You know what I mean?
This is good information. Yeah, so this is debunking the narrative of he could have been losing on this show, because if it's a sponsor involved in the show, that's money that's floating in the show. That means it has financial backing. So I don't see what we lose at.
So let's say like my show, right? Maybe weekly at best, if we ain't cursing and going crazy, it may make $1,000, maybe $1,500, right? Mm-hmm. Then you got 4 people, you bust that down, whatever. It really ain't no money. I get that. And you're paying X, Y, and Z. But once the advertisers come, yeah, that's a big penny.
Yes.
So we reading, you know, almost every episode, you would see me doing ad reads. You know, some of them ads would be 10 grand. Some of them ads would be 15 grand.
Yes. And then the Fashion Nova shit at the beginning, that's a bag.
Oh, it's all ads.
Yes.
When it comes down to that. I've even bought, you know, people to come and bring ads.
Okay.
To the table. So, you know, the saying that, yeah, if you sit there and just say YouTube, yeah, you lose money on YouTube, but not when you got an ad for a show.
That's good game.
And we reading that ad, that's good game.
Yeah, and then he also, because, you know, I remember that Adam, and I'm sure at some point I'll speak to Adam and clarify some of this shit he's talking about, but he said he made $200,000 a month. So I'm like, on one end you say you losing, and then
he said $2 million.
That's right, $2 million a month. He said he make $2 million a month. So how are we losing?
$2 million, because, you know, and then too, people are not understanding, right? Like, once again, once you get the information, you know what's going on.
Right.
So yeah, that show may have made, without ads, a couple of $100, but you chop that show into 20, 30 clips.
Which is another stream of revenue. Out. Yes.
Yep. And then you take them clips and you put them on Facebook.
And on Instagram.
You take them clips and you put them on Instagram.
And on TikTok.
Then you put them on Snapchat.
Right.
So that same content is surfacing multiple times.
Yes.
By the time that it's all, you know, by the time it's all chopped up, and you can making some real bread on them.
Exactly. So I think it's so good that we having this conversation, man, because the fans, the consumer, hear him say that, and, you know, he was over there with Joe speaking a lot about that, right? And, you know, they know I give this kind of game all the time, but it's important to understand that this show had ads on it, and that's the business model that podcasts usually live by. Get you some ads. What's your CPM? How much are they paying per thousand and things like that, and then you will be able to get your money like that. I think that's so good game. Let's talk about you putting your life on the line, or putting your flag on the line, or putting your reputation on the line. A couple of instances happen. I believe that white people and black people don't share the same like understanding when it comes to how far we're willing to go, right? So for us, we'll lay down and die for somebody we love. And but love for
100%.
us mean that much, right? For I think some of our Caucasian counterparts, I don't think they see that the same. I think relationships are fickle. I believe Adam to be emotionally unavailable, right? In a lot of instances. How do you feel, bro? I mean, I know you put your life on the line, certain things happen, you ran out there. How do you feel about all of that?
I mean, I did it off of just pure love, bro. It wasn't for no monetary gain. It wasn't for anything. It was just, with the thoughts of, I'm a stand-up guy. If I fuck with you, I fuck with you. I got your back. I'm with you till the wheels fall off. That's the type of person I am.
Real.
And, I feel like part of the reason why I did get hired was because of my street background. I tried to the streets, and that was also a plus and a bonus with him living in LA and, doing what he's doing.
Right. Makes sense. Do you think Adam was emotionally available? Like, do you think that he showed you the same love or he cared the same way you cared?
I would like to believe so. This happens all the time, man. This ain't my first rodeo. You get around people, you show blind loyalty. They underestimate you, and then you become somebody, and then the division happens, and this is just on a larger scale. And I ain't gonna just say that's just for white people. I've been like this with our own people.
Yeah, for sure. But I know that they know they wrong, right? And what I'm saying is for our black people, when they do us like that, they feel it. They know they wrong, even if they never say nothing. Sometimes I believe that doing business, like I'm doing business with all the big companies, and I can tell that a lot of them don't have any emotion involved in this. It's all numbers.
I don't think that he thinks that he did anything wrong.
That's what I mean, right? So he may be emotionally unavailable in that way, where it's like I don't see it. I keep fluffing it. And let's get to how you found out, right? Lush was fired on camera. When you seen Lush fired, did you already have the information that he was speaking on you to Lush, or was it after that?
So it happened like instantly. So what ended up happening was, and shout out to Lush, man. Lush is a good guy. I don't think that he tried to cause any harm or anything like that. Lush, for his sobriety, he just has to be real honest, and he took to getting in the Reddit and the Discord. Adam had told me, for our friendship, I think it's best you don't do the Tuesday show no more. I was cool. I was like, all right, fuck it. It is what it is. Focus on everything else, the Wednesday show and the food show. And he asked Lush how he felt about it. Lush was like, he don't think it's a good idea, but he gonna rock with it. T-rell told him, nah, I ain't rocking with it. If he ain't rocking, I ain't rocking.
Solid.
And solid, super solid.
Yeah.
Lush goes on the Discord, and I think people was like I think he said something along the lines that there are going to be changes at No Jumper, and people just start fishing around, and somehow he said, oh, hey, he's not going to be on the show no more, XYZ. It gets back to me, and then Adam, he's like, hey, how you feeling? What's going on? I'm like, listen, I was cool, but ain't no reason why the Discord should know what the going on. You feel me?
So you took it on the chin. Yeah, you took it on the chin like, I feel you. I'm still with you. Even though I'm making more money on the community, I'm still with you. It's cool. You're going to take me off. Now I'm hearing it through Lush and a whole bunch of people that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so Adam calls you. You tell him, man, I don't appreciate that.
Lush didn't even tell me.
The Discord, he was saying it he was Discord. Talking about it in the Discord. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And a couple of people from Discord, reached out like, hey, he in there saying XYZ about this.
Okay.
And so when Adam, he was trying to be cool, like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey, listen. I'm like, I was cool until I'm hearing my business out there in the Discord. He's like, what you mean you hearing it in the Discord? I'm like, man, check it out. I ain't no rat. But I'm hearing how you really feel about me. So he started fishing like, hey, what the fuck? He started asking the Discord people, hey, what was said about AD? And they told him like, oh, Lush was saying this about him. Lush was saying this. So he's like, oh, man, my bad, man. He's like, I ain't really do this. And I'm like, listen, bro, all you got to do is tell me how you really felt.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't tripping. All you got to do is tell me how you really felt. So he was like, look, he then sends me his whole text thread with Lush. And within that text thread, I'm reading what he's saying. He's saying, like, oh, AD and them got their own thing going on. You know, t-rell might leave too, but I can handle it. You know what I mean? Like, basically just what I thought anyway was that, you know, what we were doing was affecting him.
Right.
So when I read that, he gets mad. He's like, I'm sad that I even got to do this shit. Lush is this and that, you know, starts talking about Lush, and then he goes on air and fires Lush.
That's what got Lush fired. What do you think made him confined in Lush?
Honestly, I think it wasn't necessarily even Lush telling me. It was that he had to tell me how he honestly felt about me.
Right.
Instead of sugarcoating it.
But I'm saying he admitted to speaking with Lush in confidence. I ain't saying that Lush told you what.
I don't get it though. I don't get why. You know, Lush was relatively new, and I thought that me and his relationship was, you know, way more closer than theirs. I don't know what would possess him to go talk to Lush.
You know, when I think about it, it's almost like Lush gives off. He kind of disarms you. He kind of gives off this like unconfrontational like vibe. It's like. You don't give out, you know, you give off, I'm AD, you know the vibration. You know what I am. I disagree with you. I stand on principle. You know,
keep it real. Keep it real, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm not going if you my homeboy, I can look past a few things, but you know, if I really feel something in my heart, I feel like it's my you know, I do my due diligence, man, to keep it real, tell you how I feel to the people.
I'm saying, do you think that put a wall up? Like for Adam,
he had to put a wall
yeah, because he's maybe used to. He may be more comfortable with that. Him. Yeah.
Certain moves that he made, people are not used to challenging him because you know they depended on that paycheck.
Right.
And I'm sitting there looking at it like, man, listen, y'all can sit there and take this shit because I ain't gonna talk behind a nigga back. I'm gonna tell him how I feel, and I'm gonna tell everybody how I feel.
And I think that's the reason why I think with Lush he felt like. He ain't gonna cross me because he really need me. He really need that. He probably felt like I can talk to him on this level for some reason. That was kind of interesting. I didn't understand why he did that. Do you think y'all?
So you want just yes man around?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes when you got the money, you know, you like, man, because now he seems to be saying he going a different direction. What does that mean to you when he says he's going a different direction?
Yeah, you don't want to niggas no more.
That's weird.
For the most part.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Do you think he'll be able to survive like that?
Yeah, you're right. He can sit there and do it come natural.
That makes sense. He seems to, and I'll get a few more questions to you. He seems to say that your situation, or not even him, there's been a narrative out there that says y'all situation kind of mirrors Rory and Maul's situation. Do you agree with that?
I'm gonna say no because I don't even know what happened with their situation. Really, this wasn't over money when it came down to me. That's what I
think. This is just style differences or something.
Me, betrayal.
Right. For you, it's betrayal. For Adam, it was style differences and him just not knowing what to say. I don't get what his issue was, but for you, it's like, damn, bro, you said that. That's wild.
I get the issue. It was, you know, we became, like he said with Joe. He didn't know we was that ambitious. And by the time that he can, you know, see what was going on, he didn't have no contracts on us and he couldn't stop it.
Right. And I know that part. I'm saying why he couldn't. These dudes must not be like, for me, bro, I come from the street. So you got to learn how to deal with people, right? You got to learn how to kind of manage shit if you're a boss. So it's like, I feel like he should have had an approach to be able to manage that or figure a way to eat with y'all some kind of how, man, something instead of.
And we wouldn't even be doing what we're doing right now if he didn't tell us to. And honestly, early on, if he said, "Hey, this is working, I'll pay you guys to put it under the umbrella," we would have did it.
See what I'm saying? It's just a matter of a conversation.
That's it.
Matter of a conversation. I truly believe that it's different, you know, between you and you guys and Rory and Maul. How t-rell feeling? Are you afraid? Do you feel scared? Do you feel paranoid? Any butterflies in your stomach?
Hell no. We just sold out the L rate. 6 hours, two sold out shows. We got to blow this in November as well too. We got more shows on the horizon. We're getting a lot of support from the people, man. Some of the biggest people in podcasts are reaching out and talking to us and trying to figure out what we want to do. So we know we're in a good situation. We got a lot of leverage right now.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'm on y'all line. You know, your boy Joe Budden, but put it out on Patreon, and it, you know, they say certain things, right? I'm just shaking up podcasts, and I'm bringing information and that kind of talk we talk.
You doing your thing, man.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
Shout out to Joe Budden too, bro, because yeah, I just hollered at him too.
But I appreciate you stopping by, man. Like I say, if y'all go live or something, hit me, man. I'll join, talk to you, talk this shit. I need to holler at t-rell. I think y'all gonna do great things in the market, bro.
Thank you, bro. That's my son. He's smiling, he's laughing. We good over here.
That's what's up, man. You have a good day. I'll reach back to you.
Yeah, you too, man. God bless, bro.
You too, brother.